Today's daf is Maseches Nazir Daf Memhei. We are at the Mishnah, approximately 12 lines from the top. Taglach Hasatayra. Zokt the Mishnah. The Mishnah is going to discuss din of Taglachas Nazir and the Karbanos that the Nazir has to bring. Zokt the Mishnah. Taglachas Tahira. Then the Taglachas and the Nazir has to cut his hair after you made Tahira. Ketzad, how does he do it? You may be shalosh behemoths. You bring 3 behemoths. Chatas, oila, and shlamim. So you bring a kifsa lechatas, which is in the keva for chatas, has to be a year old, I think. A keves for a oila, and an ayil for a shlamim. The sheichet is a shlamim, and he shechts the shlamim first, and then he cuts his hair on the shlamim after his makar shlamim. Divrei Yehuda, that's a Yehuda. Rabbi Lazar says lo yemegaleach ela al chatas. He would only be megaleach after his makar lechatas. A chatas kedemes v'chol makom, because a chatas. The rule is normally a chatas yimakar a chatas first, if it's coming along with other karbanis, and therefore it should be megaleach after the chatas. Everybody's masking, but Yeved, if he does the taglachas at the end of Yomi Nazir Daf after any of the karbanis, he's yotze b'diavad. Zokim Mishnah. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says, "Hevi shalosh behemoths." If he brought 3 behemoths in order to be maktis for karbanis, for his naziris, v'loi peirash, and he does not specify which behemoths for what, the halacha is haru lechatas tikrav chatas goes for chatas, la'oila goes for oila, is makar oila, and the shlamim is tikrav shlamim. Because since he's mafresh 3 behemoths for his naziris, it's muchach that his kavanah is to mafresh every behemoth for what it's supposed to be for which carbon he's supposed to bring it for. And it's as if he called each one a name and said, this animal should be for oila, this one should be chatas, even though he didn't technically do that. But since it's understood that those karbanas are roy for those types of karbanas, that a kifsa is for a chatas, and memelo, automatically you say it's that's as if he was mafresh for that carbon. Zakti Gemara, Tana Rabbanan. Learned in a brayso. It says in the Parasha of Nazir, it says in Midbar Parak Vav Pasuk Yudches, V'gilach HaNazir Pesach HaOmayed. It says in the pasuk that the Nazir cuts his hair Pesach Oil Mayed, the opening of the Oil Mayed. So we could darshan that B'Shlamim HaKasim Daber, the pasuk's talking about a shlamim, a carbon shlamim. Means which pasuk is talking about when it says he cuts his hair Pesach Oil? Darshan is talking about a shlamim, Shenemar. So we darshan is talking about a shlamim, Shenemar, because it says in the parasha of Hakrabas Shlamim, Vayikra Parak Gimel Pasuk Beis, Ushechatay Pesach Oil Mayed. So that's what it says by the parasha of Shlamim. He shechs the Shlamim Pesach Oil Mayed. So when the Torah says over here that V'gilach Pesach Nazir Pesach Oil Mayed, we say it's talking about after he brings the carbon Shlamim. So Zakti Gemara, Ata Imam B'Shlamim Kasam Dav. You say the pasuk over here by Nazir talking about Shlamim Mayino Elo Pesach Mayid Mamish. Maybe it just means that a Nazir has to megaleach his hair at the opening of Pesach Mayid. Who said it's coming to tell you that it's after or before a specific carbon that he's bringing, or at the same time, or whatever? Who said it has anything to do with a carbon Shlamim? So the Brisa says Amarta. In Cain, derech b'zayinu. So you could ask, it's derech b'zayin to cut his hair in the Pesach Omayid. Just take a haircut there. As a b'zayin, take a haircut like that. Because the b'zayin take a haircut stops to do Pesach Omayid, and it's a b'zayin. So if Allah Pasuk's not come and tell you that it's not a star, the Pasuk come and tell you that he's mamish megaleach his hair there, rather that he's megaleach on a carbon that it says by that carbon Pesach Omayid, which is a shlamim. So in other words, after he brings a carbon shlamim, he's megaleach his hair. Rabbi Yoshi Aimer, Einei Tzarech. Rabbi Yoshi says, I don't need to learn b'svara that it's asar lina yederech b'zayin to megaleach his hair on the Pesach Omayed. Why? Because the Amar Torah says legabe walking up on a mizbeach in Parshas Mishpatim, Shmois Parak Chav Pasuk Chav Beis, it says leisalav amalis al mizbechi, that a person is not allowed to walk up to the mizbeach on steps. He has to walk up on a ramp, right? There's a kevesh. There's no steps on this back. There's a kevesh. There's a ramp. You'd go up. Why? Because we chayshish that maybe if he walks up steps, He'll pick up his feet and megala is erva. And it's not derech kavod. So if we see that the Torah was mazer kohen b'shas avoda, that should not be megala his erva to mizbeach, which is only the mizbeach made out of eitzim avonim. It's nothing. Kal v'chomer nazir, that should not be megaleach his here pesach al moed, because that's mamish derech b'zayim. Because he's doing it mamish. It's not on bezech. He's doing it mamish next to the Beis Hamikdash in the Malkam Kaddish, and it's also not even shaykhis to the avoda. At least the kohen going up on the mizbeach is negeh to the etzem avoda. Okay, so that's why he holds. You don't have to learn Misvara. It's pashut that it's not a pashut that because you see the Salam Al's Mitzvah Torah is telling you that it's not doesn't pass. It's derech b'zayin. So it's pashut over here that it doesn't pass either. To say that there's no tzad to take a haircut on the Pesach Moed. So now there's another nusach achar b'medrash b'parshas Nasai. We find that in Medrash b'parshas Nasai it says another nusach. It says in Bamidu Parak Vav Pasuk Yichas v'Gilach Hanaz Pesach Moed, and it doesn't say on which covers we're going to lay. So Rabbi Yoshia says b'shlom ha'kasam daber. It's talking about shloma. Maybe it's not talking about. Maybe just talking about the pashas take a haircut on Pesach Moed. Zakter Yoshia im kach amar Torah. If the Torah said by a kohen goes up to Vech l'sal mal sam mizbechi kav chomer l'davar shlo yigaleach pesach ha'moed ela b'shlom ha'kasam daber. So rather, Zakter Yoshia is talking about pesach ha'moed. Rabbi Yitzchak Omer ein Torah. Rabbi Yitzchak says you don't need to have the svara because from the pasuk itself you could be mechiach that it's not talking about that he actually takes the haircut pesach ha'moed. Because Areyu Omer, it says in Parashat Nazir, v'lokach ha'sa'ar roish nizroi v'nosan ala eish ashetach ha'sevach ha'shlam. It says he takes the sa'ar roish nizroi, he puts it on the eish, which is under the zevach shlam. So it's mashma, misha ina mechusar ala lekicha. It's mashma that he's only missing that he needs to take the hair off his head, unisina, and he has to put the hair on the eish without doing anything else. Yotza zeh, it's excluding this person that's megaleach pesach ha'moed, because he's mechusar lekicha and hava and nesina. So pasuk's mashra, he just has to take the hair off his head, and he has to put it on the eish. That's all he has to do. But if the halacha would be that he has to cut a pesach ha'moed, then it's more than that. He has to do lekicha, take it off his head, and hava, bring it from the pesach ha'moed to the makom nesina al eish for the shlamim. So Mela it's mustavar to say this that it says v'gilech hanazar pesach ha'moed. The kavanah of the pasuk is as migalech it on the shlamim, which says it's just telling you it's referring to the carbon which is pesach ha'moed, which is a shlamim. Ikada amri. Some would say the words of Rabbi Yitzchak in a different oifin. That Rabbi Yitzchak is saying that it says in the pasuk that you megalech pesach ha'moed. So b'shlam ha'kasam medaber, it's talking about you megalech on the shlam. Ata even b'shlam ha'kasam medaber ye'enei ela. Maybe it's telling you pesach ha'moed mamish. That you mamish have to cut in that area of pesach ha'moed. Talmud loymar v'gilech hanazir pesach ha'moed. This reish nizor v'lech sar reish nizor v'nosan leish tachas sevach ha'shlamim. At the pasuk is soimach the mitzvah giluach to the mitzvah of burning the hair to tell you that makam sheyiyah mevashal shomayim galech. That the area where the Nazir would cook the carbon shlamim, where you makam shlamim, over there, he would cut his hair and not in the Pesach ha'moed. So al-karchach, this is what the pasuk says, Pesach ha'moed does not mean actually Pesach ha'moed, he cuts his hair. Rather, it just means after the shlamim. Zok the Gemara is going to bring different Tanaim that learn different halachas from these words Pesach Moed. Abba Chana Oim Mishur Belezer. Abba Chana says in the name of Rebbe Lezer, it says in the pasuk Gilach Hanazar Pesach Moed. So it's coming to teach you calls man she'ain Pesach Moed Pesuach Enim Galeach. It's coming to tell you that if he comes to the Beis Hamikdash in the morning before they open the doors of the Heichal, the halacha is he has to wait until they open it and only then can he take a haircut. If the doors are locked, he's not allowed to take a haircut. That's what he holds. That's what he learns out of it. But not that the Geluach has to be done by the Pesach. Nothing to do. Whole different drasha. Reb Shimon Shazuri says that the Nazir taka has to be Galech on Pesach HaOmayid, like the Pashas of the Pasuk. Why? Because it says we Gilech HaNazir, Pesach HaOmayid. And he dashes from the Pasuk, V'loy Nazira. That if a lady is in a Nazira, she Avada would not do it on Pesach HaOmayid. Why? Because Shemi Yiskur Perchei Kahuna. Maybe the Perchei Kahuna, they will see her. Because it's an open place, and it's not sneistic. And from the fact, so Rav Shimon Shazur is saying, from the fact that you see the Torah is Mamayid and the zero, you see that when the Torah says Pesach al-Mayid, it does mean actually Pesach al-Mayid. Because it's telling you, Torah is telling you, a Nazir can't cut her hair Pesach al-Mayid, but a regular guy, regular Nazir, a man, that's a Nazir, he does cut his hair Pesach al-Mayid. So Rav Shimon Shazur clearly learns that that's halacha. Amar Loi, so Abba Chanan told Rav Shimon Shazur, L'tvarecha, according to your Shita, that the Torah is choishish that maybe Skarba Perchei Kahuna, that the Perchei Kahuna look at her. So what's Pshat in Saita? Saita Teichiach, because the Chesiv Bava Mina Lefnei Hashem. You see a Saita, you bring her in the Azara, in front of everyone. V'lechashin Hashem is Skarba Perchei Kahuna. So Hakim by Saita is different, right? So Amar Lahan, so Rav Shimon Shazuri told Abba Chanan that no, Saita is different. Because Zu Kechelas by Keses. A woman that's an Azira, she only has to do taglach, she has to grow her hair. There's no halacha she's not allowed to put on makeup and look nice and look pretty. So she's technically allowed to look good. So that's why it's a problem that we're afraid we don't want to put her in the open. However, a soita zu eina kechelas bekeses. She's not allowed to put on makeup. Adarabah, they manavel her, they try to make her look not good, in order that they want her to admit the things that she did wrong. So therefore, it was no chashash by Saita Hashem Yizgarba. That's what Shimon Shazuri answered Abba Chanan. Zok the Heilige Mishnah. So this Mishnah is going to discuss right to the dinim of what a Nazir would do with his hair after Teglach. Zok the Mishnah. How you know it'll say Rosh Nizroi? The Nazir would take the hair that he grew on his head, umishaleach tachas hadod. So he would take his hair from his head and mishaleach tachas hadod. He would cut his hair, right? What does he do with his hair afterwards? He puts it under the pot on the fire where they cook the shlomim, and he would burn his hair there. Zok the Mishnah, v'im gilach b'Medina. So that's only if he cuts it off in Yerushalayim. What happens if he cuts it off his hair? If he cuts off his hair chutz Yerushalayim, halacha is lo yim shaleach tachas hadod. He would not bring his hair to the Beis Hamikdash to burn it under the shlomim. Zok the Mishnah weiter. But medavar mamurim, when do you say this halacha that he puts it under the dud, on the fire of Shlomim? Taglachas tahayro, that's only if he had a proper nazirus tahayro, and then he cut his hair, but his karbanos cut his hair off. Taglachas hatoma, what happens if he's matam himself in the middle of his nazirus? The halacha is, he has to first get tar from his tuma, and then bring galeachas here, and bring karbanos on tuma. Right, so on that taglachas tama lo yemeshaleach tachsadad. He would not bring it under the dud of the asham lechatas. Shlom only a nazir Torah brings a shlom. Rameir says hakoil meshalach tachsadad. Say nazir Torah, say nazir tamei. Everything goes under the pot on the fire. Chutz minat tamei b'Medina bovad. Only a tamei. Nazir Tamei that cuts his hair outside of Yerushalayim, he would not send it into the Beis Hamikdash. But Taglachas Tahira and also Taglachas Tuma, Taglachas Tahira even in Medina, and Taglachas Tuma only if it's done in Yerushalayim, it goes under the dud, under the fire, and it gets burned in the fire. Zak the Heilige Gemara, Noitel Sa Rosh Nizroi. Tanur Rabbanon. So Mishnah says it takes another time. Rosh Tanur Rabbanon learned the Brayso va'achar kach Noitel Zaroitev. So after the Nazir cuts his hair, he takes the roitev, takes the gravy that they cooked the carbon shlomim. They cooked the carbon shlomim. And there was fat that came out of it. There was gravy. There was roitev. V'noisen al sa'ar rosh nizroi. And he takes that and he puts it on his hair. And then he takes umishaleach tachas hadod shel shlomim. Then he takes the gravy with his hair that he cut off and he puts it on the fire and burns it. Yeah. That's what he does l'chatchila. V'imshilach tachat d'shachatz v'asham yatsa. When Dr. Bryce said that if b'di eved he didn't put it on the fire of shlamim, let's say put it under the fire of the carbon chatzos of shlamim, he's also yotze. So kach devei Bryce. So now the reflecting Gemara asham benazir Torah mi'ika. Is there an asham? What was the last part of the brayso? The brayso said, "Shilach tachat adud shalchatas va'asham and not a shlamim yaitza." So, frakting Gemara, is there a asham by a nazir tahar? Meaning, since we said there's mishaleach tachat adud of shlamim, so in the first of the brayso, we're talking about a nazir tahar that finishes his ears, right? Because a nazir tamei does not bring a shlamim. So Ibezoi, how does the Brisa finish over the saying as Mishaleach Tachsa Asham is Yaitzel? That's only by Nazir Tamei. He brings a Asham, not a Nazir Tar. So what's going on? Zok the Gemara Amar Rava Zok Rava Azoi Hachi Kamar. This is how you have to explain the Brisa. The Im Nazir Tamei Mishaleach Nazir Shalatam Yatzo. The Brisa Takas being Meisif and saying that if a Nazir Tamei is Mishaleach Tachsa Dud of Asham, he's Yaitzel, and the Brisa is Taka not. Intention of Brisa is not to finish off what I was just talking about Nazir Tar. Rather, it's saying an additional halacha lagabi a Nazir Tami. Zok the Gemara Manan immediately. How do you know this halacha that he takes the roitiv of the sar Nazir and puts it on the fire? Amar Rava, Zok the Rava. The pasuk says, Amar Kra. The pasuk says, he takes the sa'ar of the hair from his head, v'nasan ala eish asher tachas zevach hashlam, which is under the zevach hashlam. So the word zevach is extra. Could have just said asher tachas hashlam. What's zevach hashlam? So the Gemara is coming to tell you mizivcha. He has to take from a part of the zevach, which is the roitev, yehitachtav. That should be under the shlamim, and that's why the pasuk says zevach to tell you that also the zevach should be ala eish together with the sar. And so maybe it's going on the meat of the shlamim. How do you know it's going on the gravy of the shlamim? Right. So the pshat is that he can't take from the basar shlamim because you're not allowed to be mafsid kachim as long as it's royal achila. If it's royal achila, you're not allowed to use it for something else. You can't just take it and burn it with the here the nazir. So avadi, you have to say that kavanah of the pasuk when it says zevach shlamim means from the gravy of the shlamim and not from the etzem meat of the korban, the basar of shlamim, because otherwise it's to be mafsid kachim. Zokt the Gemara Vaiter. The Brisa says, "Shilach tachas adud shalchatas yaitze." You put on the fire the chatas yaitze. My time, what's pshat yaitze? The pasuk says clearly tachas zevach hashlamim. So how come yaitze b'diavad if you put on the chatas? Zok the Gemara makra zevach. The pasuk says zevach, which is mashma stama korban and lavdav kashlam. The rabbis chatas asham. It's coming to a marba chatas asham that they're also included in the mitzvah b'diavad. However, the chatchila you have to put it under the shlom because taka before it's in the pasuk it says zevach shlom. So frakting amara of pikte lahai zevach meroitiv. How could you use zevach to tell you yotzi b'diavad and chatz and asham? You just told me that you learn it out that tells you even that you have to take from the roitiv of the shlomim to put on the here and then burn it. Everything Gemara because im kain le makro the pasuk should say meroitiv ashlamim. The pasuk should say meroitiv ashlamim. My zevach. Why does the pasuk say zevach shlam? Shema mina the rabbis chatzah. You see from that, it's also coming to tell you that if he put his hair from his nazirs from geluach, but the evid under the chatzah shmi yaitza. So frakting gemara ve'ema kula lechatas v'asham v'asa. Maybe say the whole yiter of the pasuk of zevach is coming to tell you that it's coming to you marba chatzah asham but the evid yaitza. How do you know it's coming to tell you also the din that he has to take from the roitev of the shlomim and mix it with his seer and then burn it? So Zokting Gemara, because im kain lem shlomim v'zevach. Let the pasuk just say v'nosan tachas shlomim v'zevach, which is mashma or shlomim or another zevach. My zevach hashlomim, which is mashma, is also coming to be marba din legabe shlomim. Therefore, Shema Minot Harti is like the more you learn out from both drushes from it. It's going to tell you two dinim. Zok the Gemara Vayter, we learned in a brayso, Hakoil hoyu mishalch and tachas adud, chutz metame shegilach b'medina. There was a shita that held that all nazirim, sai nazir Torah, sai tamei, sai Yushalayim, sai chutz la Yushalayim Medina. The mishaleach tachas hadud. Besides for nazir tamei shegilach b'medina. Besides for nazir tamei, which doesn't send it. Right. So that was such a shita. Only nazir tamei b'medina does not send his hair to the Azar to get burned. Why? Sorry, nikbar. What does he do with his hair? Is the Nazir Tamei Medina outside Yerushalayim? So he gets his has to get buried. Divrei Meir, that's where Meir holds. Rabbi Yehuda says, Ta'ohirim kam lekam. If he's a Nazir Tar, which is Megalech at the end of the Ziris, so Saif is Megalech in Yerushalayim, Saif is outside Yerushalayim, Hayim Mishalchim, they would send the hair in to get burned under the pot of the Shlomim, on the fire of the Shlomim. But Tameim kam lekam lo Mishalchim. Rabbi Yehuda's Shita is another Shita. Tameim, whether they cut off the hair in Yerushalayim or Medina, they would not send the hair in to get burned. And the Chacham say, so Chacham is another shita we didn't see in the Mishnah. They say that nobody sent the hair under the dud besides for one type of Nazir. Who? A Nazir Tahar that was Megaleach in the Mikdash. Because that is be'etzem, the Iker din of how Geluach is supposed to be done. And only then does it get burned together with the shlomim. Yeah, okay, so that's Shitas Tanakam in the Mishnah. Okay.